Hi, and welcome to Matlab Minutes, where we do Matlab in minutes. This is episode 6, Advanced Plotting. So I've created a little Matlab script here to give us some data to plot. So first thing, I have my little clear workspace, my clear and CLC commands, which is just a really good habit to have. And then I'm going to create some data. So I'm going to use that line space command, or linspace, from one of our previous examples to create a nice little linear vector of x data. So this is just going to be basically a row of x data from 0 to 2 pi with 100 values along the way. And then I want to create some nice functions for us to plot. We'll do something fun this time, not just a straight line. So I'll create 3 functions: sine of x, cosine of x, and then I guess a sine of 2 times our x values. And if we remember really quick, since x is going to be this vector, this row of data or column of data, Matlab will automatically compute the y value for each value of x. So we sort of get that for free, no need to write a loop. Great. So we have these functions. I can run my live script real quick here, and I can see that sure enough, I get some variable output in my workspace. But I'd like to plot these. I want to see what these functions look like. And before I go on, I'm going to introduce a new idea here, which is this insert tab and a section. So I'm going to use a section break tool here. I'm going to put in a new section, and you'll see this blue line pops up. This is really useful, so when I go back to my live editor, I can either run the whole script or I can run by section. So I can have this first section that runs, that sets up my variables for me, and then I don't need to run this again. So as I'm tweaking my plots and making changes, I can come over here and run by section. And I'll actually add a nice little header to this. I'm just going to add a heading, and I'm just going to say this is the plot section, just so that I know what I'm doing. Alright, this is the plot section. I'm going to switch back to my code view here, and now I can start entering some code. So the first thing I want to do is create a figure. The figure command here, and remember I can hit tab just to autocomplete that. The figure command basically tells Matlab I'm going to have a window or a figure, and I'm going to put all of my plots into this figure. So we could add a bunch of different plots to the same figure, or we could have a bunch of different figures which are their own plots. Each time we run the figure command, Matlab creates a new figure. And we can play around with this a little bit later and see what this looks like. So I'm going to create a figure, and now I want to plot. So I'm going to use the plot command, and it'll come up and it'll give me 2D, 3D. We'll do 3Ds maybe in another video. For now, let's just focus on some 2D line plots. So I'm going to hit this 2D line plot thing, right? And when I start adding my parentheses, it's going to come up and it's going to say Y, and then it's going to show me what I can do, right? Like Y, lines, back, whatever that means, options, whatever those are. I'm going to have this little drop down so I can see like more alternatives. And this is the fun thing about this drop down, which is that Matlab lies to you. It makes you think that you can just put in Y, which you can, and it will plot the x-axis as the value, so the array location number versus the y value. But that's kind of weird. Nobody really does that. What we really want is this, right? We want our x value and our y value. We want to plot x versus y. So I'm going to start with that. So what's my x value? Well, in this case, I've already made it. It's my line space, right? So my x, comma, and let's just plot y1 for a second here, and let's run this section. I can run the section because I've already ran the top section, so I'll use my little run section tool here, and let's see what we get out. I'm going to switch to an output inline view, and sure enough, here we go. That's real cool. There we go. There's our x values and our y values. This is exactly what I would expect from my plot. But maybe I want to make this a little nicer. Maybe I want to make like a, I don't know, maybe a red line for this. So I can kind of put in a comma here. Let's put in a comma. And I'm going to send Matlab a command. And that's sort of these single quotes are telling it that we want something. And I'm going to do dash R. And that's going to tell Matlab, make this a line. That's the dash. R is going to be red. I'm going to hit run. And I should get a solid red line. Cool. And I can even do other things too, right? Like I can do dash dash R. I wonder what happens if I do that. Let's take a look. Oh, dashed line. And I'm going to show you where I'm getting these options from in a little bit here. It's my second favorite thing about Matlab. And let's make another change to this. Let's change the line width. So again, I'm going to do like we'll do a little single thing here. And I'm going to do line, and look at it, it'll even give me line style. I want to do line width, so I'm just going to go down and hit that. and then it'll add the comma for me, and then I can make this a thicker line. So let's make this a thicker line. Let's do a 2 for a nice thick line width, and I can hit run for this. And sure enough, see, nice thick line, and I can go back and I can make this even thicker. I could put in 3, I could hit run, and oh, yep, here we go, nice real thick line. So just like that, I can do a bunch of different plots, a bunch of different options, and I can suppress this, and if I suppress it, that's my little semicolon, my .com out here at the end, you'll notice that, well, doesn't really change anything. So nice in live scripts that this suppression is kind of an option if we're just trying to make some quick plots. And you might be wondering, where am I getting this plot thing from? Well, I'm going to come up here to my help menu, and I'm just going to type in plot. And Matlab has one of the best and most robust help menus that you will ever see for any program. And it's going to load this up, and I can kind of expand this, and we can take a look. And sure enough, plot XY with line specifications. And if I scroll down, it tells me what X and Y are, how these things work. I can jump to examples by clicking on these buttons, or I can keep scrolling down and I can see examples. I can even copy these right into my own live script if I wanted to. This looks pretty similar to what we're doing, doesn't it? And then here we go, some nice line space stuff. If I want to do multiple plots, if I want to change colors of my plots, I can keep scrolling down through all of this. And way down at the bottom right, it'll even show me histograms, circles. It'll tell me what I can use for X coordinates. It'll tell me single point plots. And then it'll give me all of my line styles. So this is this line specification, style, marker, and color. So it'll tell me all of the things that I can use. So if I want markers for my data points, I can add a marker and give it little stars, triangles. I can change my colors. So this whole line specification thing, this is where I'm getting these things from. And a really handy thing, like I said, I just go up to the corner up here, I type in plot, I open up the help menu for plot, and it gives me all of this information. All right, cool. Well, let's do another plot here. Let's try and plot, I'm just going to Control-C, Control-V this. It's down here right now because I haven't reran this. And let's try and plot like y2. Let's plot the y2 function and see what we get. And you can ask yourselves at home, or pause this real quick, are we going to get this on the same plot? I don't know. Let's find out. So I'm going to run, again, I'm just going to run the section. So I'll run this again. And, well, no. I actually get 2 different plots. Look at this. I'm getting 2 different plots. Okay, but what if I want to combine these, right? What if I want to put these on the same plot? Well, if I want to do that, I have to use a special command, and this is the hold command. And the way I like to think about this is that I want to tell Matlab, hey, I have a figure, I want to plot, but hold on, there's more to come. I want to add this plot to that same figure, and now I'm good. So now I can say, okay, hold on, I want to add this plot, now hold off. And I'll say hold off. And now, when it hits hold off, and I run this little section here, I should get one plot that combines everything. So this plot now combines my first and second plot, all encapsulates in one go. And this is a really useful tool for me to be able to produce multiple plots. And now I don't even need to do hold on and hold off each time either. If I want to add another plot, let me just come down here and I can add another plot. Let's do Y3. Let's fit all 3 of these right on the same. And I'll change colors. Maybe I'll do blue and I'll do green, and maybe I'll make this do some double dashes here. Ooh, we can make this will be a fun one. Let's use this little specifier here, this like colon thing, and we'll see what we get. All right, so I'm going to rerun this section now, and I should get 3 lines. This one, and sure enough, oh, look at that. I get a double dot. I get dots for this. So here's all 3 of my functions. I'm just using this hold on and hold off feature to plot all of these on one single plot. Okay, well, that's really cool, but you know, anyone that's like an engineer or a scientist or has even taken a high school class will tell you this is a really crummy plot. Like, I don't know what this is. Like, what's the title? What's this axis? What's going on here? I want to know some more. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little comment here. I'm going to say make this a custom plot. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add down here, I'm working down here, right? I'm going to add some customization. First thing I want to do is I want to add a title. So I'm going to use the title command and open this up, and it's going to say target. So I could specify, maybe I had a bunch of plots, a bunch of figures, I could specify a figure. But since I'm doing this right after the figure that I've just made, I don't actually need that. What I do need is to give it some text. And again, I'm going to use my little single quote here to give it the text that I want. So this is my custom plot. And now if I run this, let's see what I get here. If I run this section again, I should get a title up top here. This is my custom plot. Cool. Well, I can do the same thing for each of my axes, except in this case, I'm going to use X label, and sure enough, there it is, X label, and I can do the same thing. I can say, what do I want to call this? Oops, I already gave my thing here. What do I want to call this? I want to say x-axis, and I don't know, I'll just say rad for radians. So I want this to be in radians. And you know what? I can do this for my y-axis. Instead of x, though, I will just use y. So I will say y label, and I'll say y axis, and I'm just going to say amplitude, or I'll just do AMP for amplitude. And now if I run this again, let's see what I get. So I'll hit run section again, and now I should get labels on my plot. Sure enough, y-axis amplitude, x-axis radians, and this is my custom plot. My, not may, my custom plot. There we go. Okay, well, what else can I do? You know, maybe I'd like to know what these different lines are. I'd like a legend for my plot. So I can use the legend command, legend, there we go, and I'll create a legend. And for the legend, right, I need to give it the values that I want in the order of the things I've plotted, right? So in other words, I plotted y1 first, so that's my sine of x, and then y2, that's cosine x, y3. So I need to give it the legends I want in the order I want them. And this is again going to be text. So I'm going to use a single quote. I'm going to say sine of x, and then I want another one of these, so I'll do a comma and another single quote, and I'll say we'll do cosine of x, and then again I want another one of these because I have all three lines, so another single quote here, and I'm going to say, what did I do? I did sine, trying to remember what I did, sine of 2x, there we go. And now if I run this, I should get a legend, and since I did them in the right order, all of the colors should match up in my legend. Sine, cosine, look at this, here we go. So this is a nice, simple little plot, a really good way of doing this, creating a plot with multiple lines on one plot, and hopefully this helps. And we'll do maybe another advanced plotting video a little bit later that talks about how we can do subplots and double y-axis plots in the future.